I've worked with the National Forest Search and Rescue Unit for nearly 12 years. I've seen hikers lost for days, climbers buried under avalanches, campers who wandered off drunk and died cold and alone. But Sector W is different. You won't find it on any official map. It's not even a real designation. It's more like a whispered label, the weird zone, the place we all pretend doesn't exist. Even amongst our teams, it's only spoken of at night between drinks. Sector W isn't that big. A 5-mile patch of deep pine woods in the northeast quadrant of a national park I won't name. But it's notorious. People go in. People don't come out. 3 weeks ago, a hiker named Lydia Watkins disappeared. Solo backpacker, 28, former military. No signs of struggle. She radioed for a check-in around noon near the Sector W boundary, and then nothing. Her GPS tracker pinged once, 10 minutes after her last call, just inside the border. Then it went dead. 3 days later, we were deployed, 6 of us. I led the team. We passed the boundary markers, unofficial wooden posts with weathered paint, and everything changed. The first thing was the sound or lack of it. No birds. No bugs. Just wind that didn't rustle the trees, like it was gliding around them. We split into pairs and canvassed the perimeter. My radio started picking up static every time I turned toward the center of the zone. One of my teammates, Rojas, swore his compass spun for 10 seconds straight when we crossed a dried-out creek bed. His backup compass, same. Then we found the tent, Lydia's gear, perfect condition, set up neatly. A burnt-out campfire with unburned marshmallows still on a stick. One boot outside the tent. No blood, no signs of struggle. Her satellite phone was inside the tent, but the battery was fully charged, and it had no missed calls, as if no one had tried to contact her during the days she'd been missing. That night we set up camp just outside the zone. Around 2:14 MMI, I woke up to clicking like a Geiger counter or bones tapping glass. It was coming from the trees. I unzipped my tent. The woods were lit, not from the moon, but from a cold, pale shimmer that pulsed behind the trees. And just for a second, I saw Lydia standing at the edge of camp. She was barefoot, pale, wet with condensation like she'd been left in a freezer. She didn't speak, just raised one hand and pointed deeper into the forest. Then she was gone. Rojas saw her too. Swears she looked wrong, like her joints bent slightly off. Like something was wearing her skin, but didn't understand how it fit. We pressed on the next morning despite protocol. I know we broke every rule in the manual, but I needed to know. About an hour in, the forest shifted. There's no other way to explain it. Paths curved subtly behind us. Landmarks disappeared. One tree was there, and then it wasn't. Rojas threw a chalk marker on a boulder. 10 minutes later, we found the same rock with no chalk on it. We weren't walking in circles. The forest was folding behind us. We finally reached a clearing. At the center was a pit, not a sinkhole, not erosion, a perfect circle, 30 feet across with soil that looked scorched and blackened. And something was in it, not Lydia, not human. It looked like a negative space. An outline of a man but made of smoke and leaves and glistening bark. It had no face, just 2 sockets that absorbed light, and in its hand, Lydia's missing boot. We backed away. But Rojas tripped and the thing shifted, not walked, shifted forward. I fired a flare, and for just a second, the clearing lit up in full daylight. What I saw, God help me, there were dozens of them, figures bent, empty, wearing parts of uniforms, SR jackets, hiking gear, patches with names I recognized from past disappearances. They weren't alive. They weren't dead. They just stood there, watching, waiting, as if we had wandered into their ritual and they were waiting to see if we would join it willingly. We ran. The forest let us go this time. Rojas didn't speak the entire way back. He put in his resignation 2 days later and moved out of state, never told anyone where. We never found Lydia or the pit or the clearing. They pulled our report, told us we were fatigued, blamed it on forest disorientation. But the last entry in Lydia's notebook was this: there's something here. In the quiet, it doesn't speak, but it wants me to. The trees say stay, the roots say sleep, the sky says nothing. I think I'm inside a thought, and it doesn't want to end. If anyone reading this gets assigned to Sector W, don't go. Let the woods keep what they've taken,